Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as Parallel. And in today's video, I wanted to get the word out that Parallel has updated their creator decks that are available to claim when you link your Epic Games account to the Parallel game system. And these are meta decks that have been updated obviously just recently with the Prime World Championships just at the beginning of March here, with the latest meta as it pertains to the release of the Aftermath card set. Now, if you watch my previous videos on Parallel and the creator decks, you can understand why those creator decks are so important and so valuable for new players. And we had talked about in my video comments and some of my recent videos about waiting to claim your creator decks, for waiting for the team to refresh them with the current meta with Aftermath, and they've just done that. So if you took the advice and you waited to claim after linking your Epic account to Parallel, well, now is the time to strike. Before we get into the creator decks, the announcements, and the deck reviews themselves, I just want to make a note here. If you haven't signed up for Parallel yet, there is a link in the video description below. It'll get you signed up. It'll get you started with some extra packs as well by using that link, which will help you get started. Those packs, coupled with these, or one of these claimable decks here to play in ranked battles with, will be all you'd really need to get started. And it's going to be a really nice start for sure using these decks in the ranked ladder. It's definitely going to allow you to, honestly, play at the highest levels of the game. Now, you're not going to be able to earn Prime because these aren't NFT decks, but you would, from a pure competitive perspective, be able to compete with some of the top decks. Definitely diamond quality decks here that you're going to be able to claim. That being said, let's hop into a little bit of the details. And just as a teaser here, we're going to be releasing a video coming up here shortly on the channel talking about all the noteworthy news and notes here from February and March in the Parallel ecosystem, which includes Parallel the TCG, it includes Colony, it includes AI Wayfinder, it includes Sanctuary, and it includes everything around the Prime token itself as well. Lots of exciting news to cover. Stay tuned for that. Again, another reason to get into Parallel if you aren't already in the game. Definitely don't delay. That being said, let's talk about these creator decks. Now you can see here, you can get access to these creator decks by simply downloading Parallel from the Epic Games Store and logging in to Parallel from the Epic Games launcher. When you do that, it's going to basically link your Epic Games account to your Parallel account, and it's going to allow you to claim a deck here. You can see here, I don't have any decks to claim because I already claimed mine previously. And you can see here some of the previous decks that were available. Tice's Catherine, Ellie's New Dawn, you've got Naeus, you've got Pheno's Juggernaut, you've got Desi's Catherine Byrne deck. But what you see here are 5 brand new decks coming out of the meta from Aftermath, and really featuring a lot of the final contenders here for the recent Prime World Championships, as well as Jarla here, who is the first World's winner here. His deck is featured here as well. And what I want to do is I want to kind of go through these quickly, break these down, give you maybe some information on these decks if you're not familiar with them. Maybe it helps you make a decision on which one to choose. You really can't go wrong with any of these 5 decks to choose from, but we'll go through them here and discuss them in a little bit of detail. So let's go to the decks themselves. You've got one for each Parallel faction, basically. And the first deck to talk about here in the list is Zelly's Arak Upgrade Swarm. This is a Augencore deck. It's using Arak as the Paragon here. And this is kind of a Swarm Augencore deck. If I'm going to be honest with you, no disrespect to Zelly here, this is probably the weakest of the Crater decks if you had to rank them in as far as win loss percentage and pure power here. But if you like Augencore, this is probably one of the more competitive decks here, along with Juggernaut Workshop. Maybe Universal Juggernaut is still up there as something that can get wins as well in Diamond and above. You can see here, if we go through, it's got your staples here of Hardlink pilots. It's got the upgraded Cutting Edge here, which has been updated recently with a patch to make it a little bit better. You got your Ocular Implants, Master Poisoners. Your legendaries here are going to include Universals, Memento the Fallen, and Wong here. So these are really good core legendaries that are universal that can use in any list, not just this list. And you've got a lot of, just kind of staples here. You've got, from a Aftermath perspective, you've got John's Tactical Provisioner here. You've got Nano Forgers, Makeshift Masterworkers, No Snitching, and also 3 Rummaging Researchers. So, from an Aftermath perspective, I mean, nothing too shocking here. Rummaging Researchers and No Snitching are going to be staples pretty much in the majority of decks, being universal cards that are very meta. And you've got the universals here, Legendaries of Memento and Wong. So, you've got a good base to work with around this deck. It's probably not one that I would personally choose if I only had one deck to choose and I was just starting the game. Augencore is, with the upgrade mechanics, probably one of the more difficult parallels to master for beginners, but certainly it's a fun parallel to play. The next one in the meta decks here that were released here is this Tempo Scipius from Sparkling. You can see here it's a pretty standard Sippy deck for the most part. It's got a couple things that are a little maybe unique, that maybe not so common, but you've got, for Aftermath cards, you've got the No Snitchings. You have the High Density Genetic Replicators, 3 of those for the relics coming out of Aftermath. And you've got Disassembly Swarm, Rummaging Researcher, and you also have legendaries of Wong and Magna as your legendaries, your 2 legendaries in this deck. It's a pretty standard Sippy list. You could say that with some of the nerfs to Triumph of Europa recently, Tabula Rasa may, not be as favorable anymore. You got your standard 1 drops here, 2 drops as well, and 3 drops. Genetic Correction and Formatician's Exalt would be probably the cards that might be swapped for some of the more meta cards. Like, you might swap those out for Convergent Recruiters or Convergent Dominator or something like that. But for the most part, it's a very very strong Sippy deck. It definitely can win games, and is probably definitely in the top of the meta decks out there still. Definitely top 3, from a power perspective and ranked. This next deck here from Viper is the Unit Cathy Markolian deck. From a Aftermath perspective, it's got 3 No Snitchings. Bloodhound Transport isn't really technically an Aftermath card. It's a Battle Pass card, recent Battle Pass card, but in the Aftermath era. So you got 3 of those. You have also, from an Aftermath perspective, Rummaging Researchers. You have 3 of those. You've got 3 Vindicator Rapid Assault vehicles. And from a legendary perspective, you have Artillery Volley here, as well as I believe it was Wong was the other legendary. So you definitely have good legendary support here. Sorry, not Wong. You have Action Memento the Fallen is the second legendary, the universal legendary here with this deck, as well as the legendary Markolian Artillery Volley. Really, this deck is something I used to climb with during day 1. A list very similar to this. Probably I mean, the only thing I would swap out of here personally for me, I don't run determined assaults or PS8 launchers for removals. I even go heavier on the units, and I also include Cendrillon, which is a battle pass card. So I mean, this is a very strong deck and a list here. If you like aggro, very fast. Fast games, fast victories, or fast losses, as the case may be, this deck is probably your speed. This is if I was starting the game and I was looking for a deck to choose to play on ranked ladder, this would personally be what I would choose. It's definitely a good list and it's fun to play. This next list, Gmon here, is the Ramp Nehemiah. This is a very competitive and strong list. Definitely very good. It's got, from a Aftermath perspective, 3 no snitchings, 3 take it or leave it's kind of like the coin. You've got 3 allocated provisions. You've got to hold the line here. So already you've got a ton of Aftermath cards. Aftermath really boosted Earthen here in this set, making it very, very strong. You've got relic repurposing for relic removal from Aftermath. You've got 3 armored support vehicles, universal defenders here, to be able to transfer that defender to other units here. You've got 3 provoke caretaker, a super statted 3-drop here, and you also have 3 rummaging researchers. You got your staples here as well in formidable presence and virulent spores. You've got aftermath cards of terror glider insertion vehicles. You got 3 of those, and your Terramech shield titaned, which is a absolute beast. Your legendaries here for this particular deck are Wong, which is a universal legendary, and Terramech Shield Titan, which is an earthen legendary from Aftermath. So this deck is heavily weighted towards Aftermath cards, but it is a very strong deck. It's good to go. If you like to win games and you like more of a control or a ramp type of game in your play style, this deck would be a very good way to go. You're going to win a lot of games with this. It's going to make people super frustrated when you beat them with this. And it's just a different play style, but it's definitely very strong. And if this is your style of play, this deck will absolutely win games for you. Now, the last deck we're going to talk about is Jarla's Neve deck. This is a Shroud deck. This is similar probably to Gmon's Earthen deck that we just reviewed, in so much that this is more of a control, more of a late game type of deck and play style. You're really going to probably win on turn 9 or later with this deck. So it's not as fast as, for example, Viper's Cathy deck, but it is very strong as well. All these decks are meta decks that are going to do well in ranked for you. From an Aftermath perspective, Jarla's deck here has 3 no snitchings. It's got 3 take it or leave it's. It's got 3 embedded agents. Those are all Aftermath cards. You've got, for more Aftermath cards, you have rummaging researchers here, 3 of those. And yeah, your legendaries are Wong. For the universal legendary, you have a legendary of Amalia here from a Shroud legendary perspective, and you also have a legendary here of a Relic of Stabilized Shard to help you ramp and get to 9 energy faster with this universal legendary relic. So this deck takes the staples of Shroud with Neve's Dominion here, coupled with Aftermath additions and ramping here, and it's very strong. This deck is obviously playable right out of the box like all these other decks, and it's going to win you games. That's going to be fun to play. So yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong. For me personally, if I were to rank these, I really would say probably the top 3, in my opinion. This is just my personal opinion. It's all about flavor. I would say the top 3 for win percentages, probably for ranked battles will probably be Viper's Cathy list, Jimon's Earthen list, and Jarla's Neve list here, or Shroud list. I think the Sippy list for Sparkling is certainly strong as well. It's right on the edge there. And Zelly's Augencore is probably, again, in my opinion, probably the weakest out of all these. But then again, all of these can win, and it's really about your playstyle and preference. And these are going to give you great starts to be able to come into parallel and basically just smash people right out of the gate with these decks in ranked. And you're not going to be able to win prime with these because these are apparition cards, but they're going to allow you to play with some of the top cards and some of these legendary cards, which for new players would be otherwise very hard to access. So now is the time. If you want to get into parallel, these are great decks to be playing with. Connect your Epic Games account to your Parallel account through the Parallel launcher, the Epic Games launcher. The link will be in the video description below. And hope to see you in Parallel. Hope to see you in the rank ladders. Definitely also stop by and visit us on our Twitch streams. Say hi, and yeah, keep stacking those stats.